uh, in one particular pastime, the Jamuna. The Jamuna River, it has some lakes in it also. So one lake was known as Kaliyahrad. And there, this, how do you say, sorcerer, serpent, taking the position of a serpent, is residing there and poisoning all the waters with his venom and poisonous vapor. So if a bird flew over the pond, they dropped dead. So everyone was avoiding that area. But in this song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there are, say, cowherd boys, some of Krishna's friends, and they're going down to that lake, and some say, like people do, they boy, this water smells really bad. Someone else says, oh my God, it's like those vapors, they're like poisonous vapors. And someone else saying, yeah, I think the whole place is totally polluted. And someone else, they say, but Krishna's here, what could go wrong? And they're more or less toasting drinking that water. So they have because of their surrender to Krishna, there's no possibility of an undesirable outcome. But interestingly, it's like you say, how much can you handle? Well, in Krishna Leela, they're not only cliffhangers, or they're on the brink of death, but we find in this pastime and others that they actually die. They're not saved at the last. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. But then they're revived. It's what Guru Maharaj calls die to live. Self-sacrifice to the extreme. And it's just to demonstrate the Vedic principle of yajna. It means sacrifice. But we're told in this age, the recommended spiritual process is sankirtan yajna. So that, and another way of interpreting this is when many come together and dedicate themselves to this end. That's another way of understanding it too. Collective dedication. Okay? But the sacrifice, the yajna part should be understood as sacrifice. Okay? Dedicating oneself and one's energy. So we're aspiring to enter a plane where sometimes Guru Maharaj mentions the spiritual world as a whole is sometimes called Vaikuntha. Means different things. One of its meaning is unlimited, without limitations. So unlimited, people think, oh, it must be really huge. That's one concept. Without limitation means another thing. Means not constricted by time and space. And all those, that's another meaning also. But Guru Maharaj, forever taking us toward gradation so that we can understand how something is superior, inferior, or deeper, or higher, refers to the Vaikuntha world when it's conceived of as the domain of Lakshmi and Narayan, and Vishnu and his Shakti, the goddess of fortune. The unlimited Vaikuntha planets, Guru Maharaj calls that as the lower hemisphere of the spiritual world. So Kunta also means anxiety. Vaikuntha is sometimes translated as, that world without anxiety. Bhayam ditya binibeshitatsad vipareyo smriti. Bhai, no bhai. no fear, no anxiety. Jai Bhakti Kusumasha Maharaj ki jai. But another meaning, so we say that the lower hemisphere of the spiritual world is without anxiety, then we may also understand by implication that the higher hemisphere is full of anxiety and apparent limitations. So this world is unlimited, no anxiety, and has no limits. So then the other place, and that is the place of our aspiration, right? Radhika Madhavasam, right? Sri Rupa Nuga Kritimati Guru Gauranga Radha Jitasha. So that the plane that we're aspiring to is filled with anxiety and limitation, apparently. This is the aprakrita lila, means human-like limitations. Like when people want to think of God or something godly, right? If they see Durga Devi, sometimes they show her here at the Pandal with 10 arms, right? 10 or 8, 10. I thought so. And 10 directions, 10 north, south, east, west, northeast, north, etc. Up, down, 10. Right? But or Vishnu at minimal 4 arms. Right? But Krishna only 2. Right? When I was in Vrindavan once, and with one of the sellers there, who sold dhotis, saris, and everything else, Ganga Prasad, the name, father. And so he said to me at one point, and I remember, I found this charming. His paralyzed with right arm, but he would always go like this and give some, pranam. Like he could not do that. But anyway, and they always like to offer some drinks or something. So there was like maybe me and a friend and him. So they had to he sent one of his attendant, go get 4 limkas. For those of you who are not familiar with limka, it's this delightful drink that's only available in India from the Bisleri company. We don't get any remuneration for mentioning that product. Anyway, he sent that person to get the 4 limkas, and he came back, brought 2, and then went back to get another 2, and I was like, and the man, because I was thinking if it was an American, say if it was Ramachandra, he would bunch 4 together and bring them over. He got 2, and then he went back and brought another 2. So I just, showed a little bewilderment. And Ganga Prasad said to me, which shows you that anyone there, they have some sanskar, something. That's why they're in Vrindavan. He said, we're not in Vaikuntha. He said, this is Vrindavan. So you got to make 2 trips. Only 2 arms. You get 2 and go back and get another 2. This Vaikuntha, all right, you can bring 4. 4 limkas. Although, that's the only thing people will remember of this talk. Or someone will go, they'll be deeply conflicted about whether or not there are limkas in Vaikuntha. They won't be able to sleep tonight. They'll be Googling that. Limkas, Vaikuntha. Or, anyway, that's called aprakrita